What's going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by. So today's video, we're going to take a look at used Levi's that I have sold online. You can find them in almost every thrift store, and if you could get them for the right price, you can definitely make money. Alright, so Levi's sell for me on eBay, Poshmark, and on Depop. The ones I'm going to show you, there's a couple that are more modern, and there's a handful that are vintage. Okay, the first pair up is a pair of Levi's 501. 501s are the most popular brand out there. They are the button fly, and they are in the straight cut. These were in a brown colorway, 36 by 30 men's. Found these at the Goodwill bins. Most of my jeans come from the bins where it goes by weight, so my average buy cost is right around $2 to $2.50. These sold for $23.75 plus shipping. Now for my jeans, I put pretty much all of them into a padded flat rate envelope, which is $7.76 for a top rated seller. Once you get up into a large size, usually about maybe like a 40 and up, then you might have a little difficult time getting them into a padded flat rate, and then you'd have to go up into like a Tyvek envelope or something. So again, these sold for $23.75 plus shipping, and these sold in about a month. Next pair up is another modern one. These are Levi's 527 boot cut, and these had a flap pocket in the rear. These sold for $22. Someone sent me an offer. I think I had it listed for like $25 or $26 plus shipping, and these sold in about 3 weeks. Now let's look at some vintage Levi's. Now with vintage, you would think they would sell for more money. You know, some you can get a decent price for, but most Levi's used are going to sell in the $20, low $30 range. So that's why your buy cost is very important. This is a pair of Levi's 560. These were vintage. They were in a smaller size, 28 by 28. 560s were discontinued, so they are pretty good sellers. They sell pretty quick because, you know, people are creatures of habit. So once you find something you like and it's no longer made, you're going to continue to look for it. And if you find them used, list them, they're going to sell. These sold for $30. I think I had it listed for like $34. Took an offer of $30 plus shipping, and they sold in about a month and a half. Okay, here we have another pair of 501s. These were vintage, and when I say vintage, you know, a lot of the Levi's that I find, and you know, you kind of find in thrift stores, you can find them from like mostly in the 90s. Okay, there is a way of looking at a tag. They have codes on the back where you can date it. I'm probably going to make a video soon on how to date Levi's. But these were vintage, size 32 by 30 in the 501s. Sold for $30 on Depop, and they took about 3 weeks to sell. Okay, here's another pair of vintage Levi's that sold on Depop. This cut was the 517. These were orange tab. There's usually silver tabs, which are older from like the 90s, late 80s. There's the red tabs, which are most popular and current. And then there's orange tabs, which are from like the 80s into the 90s. So once you see an orange tab, that's automatically going to tell you that they're vintage. So these were the 517s in a size 30. These were women's, and these sold for $26 on Depop, and they sold in about 3 weeks to a month. Here we have 505s. They were vintage also. I think most of these were from the 90s. This was a 34 by 30, and these sold on eBay for $24.75 plus shipping, and these sold in about 2 months. Another pair of vintage Levi's. These were Levi's 900, which you don't really hear too much about, and when I first found them, I didn't know either. And these actually had a brown tab, or like a bronze tab, it's actually called. So very unique to find these, even though the price doesn't really dictate that. Found these at the Goodwill bins. They were size 11. These were women's, which equals to about a 25 by 29. So for $28.75 plus shipping, and these took about 3 to 4 months to sell. Here's a pair of vintage Levi Silver tabs. I used to wear these in high school. They were great. They had a little bit of a baggier leg. Very good, good sellers. I let these go for a little less than they usually sell for, but someone sent me an offer and I moved them out. They sold on Poshmark for $28, and these also were found at the Goodwill bins. And these took about 3 months to sell. Now here's something a little different than what I just showed you. These are women's overall, bib overall shorts. Overalls are great sellers if you can find the men's full length. Never take long to sell. Levi's ones will probably go $30 to $40 range. These were women's shorts in the bib overall by Levi's. Sold for $24.75 plus shipping. Also found these at the Google bins. So it cost about $2. And these took about 3 weeks to sell. Alright, so when you're in thrift stores, look for those Levi's. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.